So, spoiler alert, in this video, I am not going to try to convince you that you need a realtor. What I am going to do is show you how to sell your home yourself and what's involved. Then you decide if A, you can pull it off, and B, if saving on commission is worth it. And if you can pull them off, then maybe doing a for sale by owner or FSBO is the right thing for you. Selling your home without a realtor is something that I think most sellers at least think about. And I understand why. Paying a 5 or 6% commission is a sizable chunk of money. So let's get to it. I'm going to get to the fun part in a minute, but let's start with the first two and most important tasks, staging and pricing. Okay, first, staging. Please don't underestimate this step. Staging is enormously important, and all of the statistics show that staged homes get more money than unstaged homes. You might have good taste and a good eye, but let's face it, it's super hard to be objective about your own home, and every property can be improved by making some tweaks. So if you can't afford to hire a professional stager, and you don't have to, I have another video about the universal rules of staging and great tips and tricks to net you more money. Next is the actual hardest part, pricing your home properly. I'm going to show you how to do that, even though you'd have to admit that no one can price your home better than an objective and experienced agent who has access to all the data points. But let's get into it. There are 3 steps to pricing, and all 3 steps are equally important. Do not just go by what your neighbor down the street got. What you want to do is go to Realtor.com or Zillow, and you're going to pull 3 different groups of comps or comparables in your area. We're going to come up with 3 different prices and use those 3 to come up with the right final number. So group 1, look at what is active or on the market right now. Don't just look at photos and the description. What I want you to look at are how many days on market the house has been on. So the general rule of thumb is anything that's been on the market longer than about 30 days is almost always overpriced. Properly priced homes sell within a month in any kind of market. And the reason they do is because real ready-to-go buyers know when a property looks good at a certain price. They've been looking probably for months and seen all your competition in person. You probably haven't. If a house just like yours has been on for 30 days or more and not selling, your asking price probably needs to be lower. So look at this group, pretend you're a buyer, and see where yours might fit in price-wise and write that number down. Group 2, now look at what is sold or closed in the last 6 months, maybe up to 12 months if sales are slow in your area. These sale prices might tell a very different story than the asking prices you just looked at. These sale prices are fact. They are final and they're closed. We know exactly what the sellers got and whether they had price reductions. But you don't want to go by just closed sales because these comps are old information. Let's say most of them closed 6 to 8 months ago. That means that all those buyers made their offers and put down deposits 8 to 10 months ago. That's an eternity in real estate. The market was different back then because it's always moving up or down. So while it's factual info, it's also dated info. Now look at this group and see where your home might fit in if it had been on the market back then and write that number down. Now you have 2 prices. Group 3. In fairness, this one is the hardest to do without a realtor. Look at the homes that are under contract or pending, but not yet closed. The final sale prices are not yet public, but you want to know what the sellers accepted because these buyers just made these offers in the last few weeks. These comps are actually the best reflection of what the market is doing right now, but it's hard to know what those under contract prices are without insider information. So the best you can do is go by the days on market. The ones that sold in under 30 days probably got asking price or close to it because they received offers quickly. The ones that took a few months to sell, maybe you want to assume they got 10% or more under asking. Try and estimate those sale prices as best you can and see where your home fits into that group, and this is your 3rd price. Now look at all 3 prices and hopefully you'll see a theme or a trend directing you toward a reasonable asking price for your home. Okay, let's get to the other tasks. Writing the description of your home. If you're not a good writer, you can steal great language from other similar online listings. You could use AI or get a friend with some writing talent. But I can tell you this, the first sentence is the most important. So lead with the 3 best features or selling points. Maybe it's the architecture, a brand new kitchen, or it's in the best part of town. Then go on to get into the details. If your home is small, use words and phrases like charming or jewel or gem. If it's old and not updated, but spotless and clean, use words like well cared for or lovingly cared for. Next is photography. I'm just going to say it, hire a professional real estate photographer. Don't even try and photograph it yourself unless you're a professional or close to it. Other than price, the photos are going to have the biggest impact on how many showings you get. No one is buying your home if they don't come see it, and they won't come see it if the photos are no good. You're saving money on commission as it is, and real estate photographers are pretty inexpensive. Okay, let's talk about marketing. Let me just say that print advertising for real estate, in my opinion, is dead. Some agents still do it, but it's a waste of money. Digital, online, and social media are the way to go. All that said, let me simplify it for you if you're not a marketing expert. The name of the game in selling your home is about exposure, exposing it to the entire buyer pool. Realtors don't like to show for sale by owners. You want to go around them and reach those buyers who are actively shopping on the MLSs. The hitch is that you can't get your home on the main section of Realtor.com or Zillow, but Zillow has a free separate for sale by owner section. If you want to get on the main MLS without using a realtor, there are cheap flat fee online agencies out there where you can pay a small amount to get it listed along with the other properties that do have realtors. Now let's talk about showings. It's hard to screen buyers on your own, not just to make sure that they're legit buyers who are pre-approved for a loan, but also for your physical safety. Realtors would bring in buyers that have been vetted and screened and then physically escort them through your home. So showing strangers your home will require extra work and safety measures on your part. So when you get a call, obviously take all their contact info, including home address, phone number, and email. If they're legit, they shouldn't mind giving you that info, and if they won't, don't show them the property. Look them up on social media. Ask to see their mortgage pre-approval letter. If they don't have one, unless they're paying cash, they probably aren't real qualified buyers. And if they are paying cash, ask for proof of funds in the way of a bank statement. Now that can be forged, of course, but if you have all their other information and it checks out, you're ahead of the game. And when it comes time for a showing, if you will be all alone, let a friend or family member know who's coming over at what time and give them the buyer's info. Before they get to the front door, take a cell photo of their car as they're getting out of it. Once they're in your house, keep your cell phone in your hands at all times and have the emergency button ready. You might even want to keep the front door ajar. Never go into the basement or any room ahead of the buyer. Always enter behind the buyer and stay by the door. In fact, unless you have valuables down there, I'd let them go in the basement alone and wait for them to return to the first floor. Now, when it comes to negotiating offers and signing a legal contract, I would use a real estate attorney. Since you won't have a realtor to advise you and will be saving thousands on commission, it's well worth it to have a lawyer protecting your interests, I think. A good realtor can easily make up their commission and then some just by negotiating better. But selling a home involves not just contracts, but disclosure forms, title issues, escrow timelines, and every one of those can cause a legal problem if handled incorrectly. You miss a disclosure and you could face a lawsuit months later. Now the inspection, which is usually the most tense part of the deal, because inspectors always come up with items you might not be aware of, and then the buyer is going to ask for repairs or cash credits, and this tends to get emotional, with sellers sometimes getting angry. Read the repair request letter once, and if you feel your blood pressure rising, put it down and come back to it later. First of all, most buyers do not expect you to give back on every item, but you want to give them something so everyone feels like they won and the deal stays together. Look at the list again and decide what's really a legitimate request and give them those items and say no to the others. Now the buyer can walk away once you say no, but usually it's a back and forth negotiation. The appraisal. This one is dicey because it's the bank or the lender that's in charge. If the appraisal comes back saying that your home is not worth the agreed upon sale price, you have 4 options. One is to appeal the appraisal with the lender by providing your own neighborhood comps that will prove the value. An appeal will delay the closing, but most lenders allow them. 2 is to reduce the sale price to the appraised amount. 3 is to stand firm on the price and make the buyer make up the difference with the bank if they'll let them. And 4 is to split the difference with the buyer. The final walkthrough and getting to the closing. So the final walkthrough is pretty straightforward as long as you have sufficiently cleaned out the home and there are no new flaws or repairs since the inspection. Some sellers think that they can leave things like firewood and garden tools and the paint they used on the house, But by law, those are considered debris unless the buyer stated that they wanted it. So I'd make a list ahead of time of anything you want to leave and see if the buyer wants them, and that will save you a headache on closing day. As for the closing, someone is going to be what's called the closing agent, either your attorney, the buyer's attorney, or the title company. You'll be called upon to review, approve, and sign the closing documents 3 business days before the closing. The last and most important thing, and this is very important, when the buyer wires money for the final down payment, there is all manner of fraud out there and hacker intercepted funds in real estate transactions. So make sure the wiring instructions are clear. And this is key. Have the buyer call your bank before wiring the money. Hackers often send the buyers fake emails just before closing that look like they are from the bank with links to offshore or foreign accounts, and the money can disappear in an instant. So please be very careful there. So to conclude, when you for sale by owner, the savings on commission are often offset or completely erased by lower exposure to the most motivated part of the buyer pool, weaker negotiation, pricing errors, and by a perception that for sale by owner sellers are desperate or the home is a discount listing. On the other hand, if you already have a buyer lined up or are an experienced investor, maybe selling without a realtor is for you. So good luck, and I'll see you next time.